Hey, what's up? I'm Derek Kirk of Effectatron, and today I'm going to show you how to create this really cool sci-fi landscape and just some neat tips and tricks to create just like giant detailed areas. We're also going to cover environmental lighting and fog, as well as just creating some displacement and bump across these surfaces to create even more detail. So we got a lot to cover. Let's get into it. Real quick, I just want to mention derekkirk.net is where you can get a hold of all of these great Redshift 3.5 material bundles. We've got glass, thin film, wax, metals, 160 different RS standard materials that are like 32 different trending color palettes, as well as some free samples. And then also other projects and things you can download in Gobos as well. Be sure to visit that. The link is in the description below to get all of these resources available to you, and definitely check out some of my other content. Be sure to check out free content to check out my other videos that are on Redshift and everything else C4D related. And then under the courses is where you can find all of my Skillshare courses and my CG Shortcuts course, which is where you can find the Redshift Materials Masterclass. Also, be sure to follow me at Effectatron on Instagram for content updates and sneak peeks as well. So basically, if you look at our render here and you look at our scene, they don't look the same. And that's because what we're going to do is we're going to use what's called the matrix scatter, which is a Redshift exclusive item. It doesn't have the Redshift logo or anything anymore, but it uses Redshift's post-rendering technology to add and clone a whole bunch of stuff with super high detail extremely fast. So rather than using a cloner, we're going to use a matrix scatter, and I'm going to show you how to set that up. And this way we don't crash our scene and we can have just vast detailed environments. Okay, firstly, I've been playing Star Citizen lately. I don't know if any of you guys play that. Comment below if you do. So I've been really into planets and things right now. So I thought I'd make a tutorial real quick on creating this landscape. And obviously, you throw in a model from Sketchfab and you have a story. You've got a scene rather than just a landscape. So pretty cool. So let's go ahead and get started and show how to make this from scratch. First thing we need to do, create a landscape. We're going to hold down this cube and go to landscape. And this part is all kind of just up to you. The actual depth, the seeds, all that stuff is going to change. So first thing we're going to do 1,000 segments. Like so. Yes, so you can see we have some detail here if we zoom in, and we can increase the rough furrows, which is going to be these kind of bigger chunks, or we can increase the fine furrows, which are going to be these kind of tiny little divots here like this. And this is kind of more what we want, and we can go scale down a bit, and so we just kind of have a nice rough area like this. So if we look at our wireframe view, this is a very high poly model. So if we put this in a cloner and create a whole bunch of them, we're definitely going to slow down our scene. So we can do a whole lot here, but it's just a little sluggish and it's just not the fastest response time. It's just really, putting a lot of stress on our computer, and we don't really need to do that. All we need to do is delete this cloner. And what we can do is we can go to hold down the cloner option and go down to matrix scatter. This is a Redshift object exclusive thing, and you can see it already comes in with an object tag on it. And so what this does is this adds all these little boxes. These are matrices, and each one of these is going to represent this once we set this up. So what we can do is we can go to matrix, inside the matrix object, we go down to generate matrices only, but the mode grid is fine. That's what we want. You can also do all the things that a cloner can do. But now instead of just dropping it into it, that doesn't work. You can't just drop it in like a cloner. What you do is you go to the Redshift object and you choose from optimize spheres, point instances, sphere instances, custom objects. This is what we want. We want custom objects, and then we want to drag our landscape and put it in there. Nothing is going to happen in the viewport. But if we go to the render view now and we hit render on this, we have a whole bunch of these super detailed landscapes crammed in over top of each other. So now what we can do is inside of our matrix object, we can start scaling this out as if it's a cloner. So let's go ahead. We know our landscape is 600 wide. So let's go ahead and just say 555 in the size here and 555 for the size there. And so now we have a whole bunch of these landscapes, and you can see our viewport is running super fast. It doesn't have any lag whatsoever. And we can see it all at render time. And the cool part is we can crank this up to insanely high numbers, like 1,000 by 1,000. You can zoom out. So you can imagine if instead of using a landscape, you threw in something like a little city or some buildings, you could create a super dense metropolis. So it's just a really cool thing. It's like this is crazy. We don't need this many at all. So we're not going to do that. But we're going to go back to 50 by 50. I just wanted to show you that it is possible that you can do that 100%. Okay, so it looks super uniform, which is not what we want. What we want to do is we want to create a copy of this landscape. Let's turn this off real quick and just look at this original landscape here. And all we're going to do is we're going to come in here and we're going to change the seed of this landscape just so it looks slightly different. And we're going to make another copy and do the same thing. And you could go ahead and mess with the scale and stuff if you want to. We could, raise this up a little bit. Don't go crazy with it, because if one stands out a whole lot more and is super unique from the other ones, then it's really going to show up when you start repeating things. So keep them kind of similar, but they'll be different enough that they'll look good. So let's go ahead and turn our matrix object back on and go back into the Redshift object tag, grab this, add those other two, okay, with this color picker here. So now we have 3 different types of landscapes scattered throughout our scene here. And we're just going to go ahead into this object and we're going to slide this in about 400 by 400. And you'll see that that just kind of brings them all in so we don't have those sharp corners. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go up here to MoGraph, Effector Random. So we do that while this is selected, and that's going to throw that in our effector here. If it didn't throw that in there, you can go ahead and add that with this clicker inside the matrix objects under the effectors tab. So now we're inside of this. What we can do is we don't want it to vary in the Y at all, but we could vary it easily 200 and 200, both in the X and the Z, just to kind of get some differences there. Rotation, we definitely want rotation in the H. So now they're going to rotate, so everything's not going to look uniform, be kind of scattered about. And then for the scale, we can do a uniform scale of 1. So we have some that are big, some that are small. And now we can see we have these gaps from where our roughness, our randomness is displacing that. So all we can do is we can come in here and just kind of slide this in a little bit till we get something we want. So let's say 300 by 300. Yeah, okay. So now we have this nice, very organic, different looking landscape. This was enough for the rotation. You can just keep incrementing. You can just keep turning that up. Like let's turn it up to 1080. And so now we don't have as many of those same angles here. So it just adds a little more randomness to that. So now we have this super detailed. We can get in close and it looks good. We can get far away and it looks incredible. So we have this huge landscape we can work with here. So now what we can do is create our light. So we'll go down here, go to create, and we're going to use an area light. And we're going to change the shape of the area light to disk. And what we're going to do is we're just going to pull it back in the Z and then over in the X and up in the Y. And we're going to rotate around here. You can see this is going to be our sun. We're going to pull that back. And we can scale that up about 500 by 500. Okay, so this is going to be our sun here. And what we want to do is, let's go ahead and turn on our render view. We'll put this on this white shader on our landscape just so we have something there. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to go create a null. And it's going to put it right in the center. And we're going to go to our Redshift area light animation tags target. Grab this null, put it in the target, and that's going to make that light point at that. So you can see here, we definitely need to increase the brightness of our light and or add an environment to make this bounce around more, which is exactly what we want to do. So we want to use a Redshift object environment, Redshift environment. And instantly you see everything is blown out like crazy because the Redshift environment comes in with a super high value. So we're going to turn that down really low to like 0.001. Okay, and so now you can see we have this nice cascading across our hills here. And all we need to do is go to our area light. And what we're going to do is we're going to make this visible because we want it to look like a sun. So it's going to give us that dot there. And then we're going to take our spread and lower that down. And we're going to lower that down to about 0.07. So now if we move our camera kind of down here in our hills, you see we have this nice cascading light and volume fog and depth to our scene already. And this is too intense, and we really can't go much lower here in our scattering. So we need to go lower in our area light. Firstly, we could lower the intensity down to 10 or so. That's pretty good. But we don't really want to do that. Let's go lower it down to 50, but we don't want to affect the volume as much, but we want this, like these highlights to be that strong off of these objects here. So we're going to go to details, and we can adjust the amount that this is affecting the volume. So we can take this to like 0.5. There we go. So we can still see our sun. We're still getting these highlights, and we're still affecting the volume, but it's not as blown out as when we have it all the way up to 1. So that's going to create this nice fog for us. Next, what we can do is go to our light, back to the object color of our light, and we can change this to, let's just say, like a sort of a dusty, nice brown, reddish orange. There we go. So already we have kind of this cool looking sunset. So now what I need to do is add a texture to add even more detail into these. So what we want to do is go to create Redshift material, standard material, double click that, go ahead and throw that material on each of our landscapes here. And what we're going to do is we're going to control click this dot here by the color, and that's going to open up our node editor. We're going to hit C to add a new node, and we're going to say MAX for max on noise. Grab that in here and hook that up to the color. Now, if we want to, we can just hit the S here, and that will solo that, so we can see that in our viewport here. And we can go inside of our material editor here and start playing around with these colors. So let's go ahead and just create kind of a dark red and sort of a dark brownish orange. We just want kind of a Martian style planet look here. So yeah, this red may be a little bright. Let's bring that down. Okay, and then we can go ahead and change the noise type to turbulence and lower the scale to 0.5. Yeah, just to add some variation there, maybe 0.25. Yeah, just so it's not perfectly even. Okay, so now we've got that going on. We can go back to our node editor and unsolo that. They just added a little bit of variation there. So now what we can do is we can go to C and go to bump. We're going to add a bump map to this. And again, C and max on noise. And click that, plug that into texture, input, bump, bump. We'll solo this, and we'll go in here inside of our material editor, and the bump is down here in the geometry section. So scroll that down, twirl down this max on noise, and we're going to use Naki. And we're just going to scale this down to like 0.5. And we're going to go into our bump here, and we're going to change the value. We can do it down here in our attributes folder. Change the height scale to -2. -2 has added some detail in here with that bump map on our surface, just to kind of give it a little more roughness. And so then we can go back into our standard material. And for the reflection, we can say all the way up to 1. Let's lower the IOR to like 1.2. It's not going to be that reflective. It's more of a planet. It's not quite a shiny material. And then the roughness, we're going to say 0.6. So it will reflect, but it's not going to be that dramatic. Okay, now if you want to add even more detail into this, you could go ahead and go back into your node editor. You could select your max on noise, hold control, click and drag to make a copy of that. And then we're going to hit C and type in displace. Use the displacement node. Plug this into their texture text map. And then this plugs into your output displacement. And this isn't going to do anything right off the bat. What we need to do is we need to hold all of these, select all these, right click, go to render tags, Redshift object. And then inside of these, we need to go to geometry, override, tessellation, displacement, and enable that as well. Now it's going to do a little hiccup here at first. So now with this, we can solo this and create our layer that's going to be displacement. We'll use FBM. Now we can come in here and just raise this low clip up to about 0.375, somewhere around there. Just to get some black here. And what we're going to do is we're going to go to our displacement node, and we're going to change the range to -0.5 for the old range, and the new range max is going to be 0.5. So what that's going to do is that's going to say everything that's black is going to be sunken in 0.5, and everything that's white is going to be pushed out 0.5, just to kind of give it a little more dynamics. So let's unsolo that, and we'll take a look at how this is looking. Pretty good. You see, we just have some extra detail in this, and if you get any kind of jagged edges or anything because your scale is small or anything on this noise, what you can do is go to tessellation and turn that on. And it's just going to subdivide this at render time versus subdividing it inside your scene. So again, we're going to use the power of Redshift to make it even faster, and you can lower these edges if you want, or this, but we don't need to for this scene. So if we wanted to, we could go to our noise and scale this down even more to make it even more detailed. Do these kind of cratery pockets everywhere. But we're going to go somewhere in the middle with 0.65. There you go. So these numbers, obviously you do whatever you want to do for the look you want to create, but you can create these really nice kind of cratery looks and extra surface details in your scene. And now we have this like really nice, huge landscape that we can control and render. Neat. I did the same exact thing here. Just added in the Millennium Falcon, some flare and some bloom. There you go. And then the cool part about this is you could easily animate, flying across a planet now. You're not limited by a small little square or trying to like loop it in some weird way or anything. You can actually just make a giant landscape that you can fly freely across without having to worry about seeing the edge of it or anything like that, because you can make so many with the matrix scatter. Hopefully that was helpful and not too complicated, just on how to kind of create a surface, how to create bump and displacement on that surface, and how to use landscapes to create that, and then how to use the matrix scatter to completely create an enormous world. So hopefully that was helpful. And then also the Redshift environment. Covered a lot of things quickly in this tutorial. Let me know if there's anything you want to see more in depth. Be sure to subscribe and like, and ring that bell for more notifications. All right, see you all next time. Later.